Hello everybody, we are the Geeks and Degenerates. I am Enzo, this is my forever co-host Jum, and today we talk about a classic. We talk about The Thing from 1982 by John Carpenter. The first Among Us before Among Us took over the internet because of the pandemic.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
pretty much what inspired Among Us. So
yeah,
yeah,
basically. We won't really go through this chronologically because I guess we're trying to do new things here at G&D because we don't want to take up much of your guys' time. And if you're here, you already seen The Thing if you're watching this video. If you
that's
haven't,
great.
it's been, what, 40 years, so I'm sorry for these spoilers.
Look. If you haven't seen it, maybe this is your call sign to see it. You know, if you hear from us that like all the shit that happens, might as well just give it a try because I will say this movie is beautifully done.
Yeah,
Like, wouldn't you agree? Like, this isn't like any other horror movie, in my opinion.
definitely. Well, it is a remake of the 1950s version that John
Yeah.
Carpenter loved, which he teased in, which he showed in Halloween for a bit. That he really likes this
Mm.
movie, and he got the chance to direct this one. And I say he's the right fit because no one really does horror like John Carpenter. Um,
That's right.
yeah, and it's a very, as you said, it's a very beautiful film. It's a very unique film. You don't really see movies like this anymore, or at least done like this with such. I forgot what the budget was, but like I always admire how films like this do so much with so little, because you're very effective and efficient, and like unfortunately, like a lot of movies today, they're not really effective or efficient. You're ineffective and inefficient. You're like, what the fuck? How do you not know the
Yeah.
lessons now?
And like you know how like I would always complain that like a lot of like horror movies nowadays have uh would have like this very stupid like, oh, why are the characters doing this? This is a very avoidable thing. I think Jenny's kind of said this
Yeah,
where, but he as he said that like there are a lot of people making mistakes where it can be avoidable, but in this movie everybody here is working and trying to outthink
yeah,
like the situation as much as they can, but in the process that like sometimes they make fatal mistakes, and I love that shit.
yeah.
But by the way, like this is, if you guys haven't seen the 2011 prequel, it I love it that it ties in with the beginning.
Is that the team from Norway that gets wiped
Hmm?
out?
Yeah. Like these people were like shooting at it, and they're like, "Where did it come from? Why are they shooting at the dog?
Yeah.
They're crazy." And you find out, like, if you watch the 2011 one, kill that fucking dog.
No,
Like,
I
kill it
haven't.
now.
I haven't seen the prequel yet, but I do like how they do spoil the entire movie at the beginning. Because what the guy says in the beginning is, "That is not a dog. That is a thing. That's disguised as a dog. You fucking idiots! Please stop me from trying to kill it. I'm begging you."
Yeah. And it
Uh,
gets shot by also impractical way. He's just like like punches a hole into the window and just like shoots the guy
yeah,
in the face.
you're like, you are in Antarctica. Why are you punching a hole in your window?
Yeah, like you need the warmth, dummy.
Yeah.
But
Uh,
anyway, I get it. His team was getting shot at. I guess it was through desperation.
Yeah, and I do like how you really don't know what the hell is going on unless you've seen spoilers on the internet. Like you're like, what's up with the dog? What's up with this whole Norwegian crew? And then you look at the Norwegian base and you're like, what the fuck happened? Jesus Christ!
Yeah, I love it. There's a whole like I guess if they left it be, like I still love the mystery, but I love it that they did give us an answer that they weren't the first people who encountered this thing.
Yeah,
You know, like as you go around, you're like, what the hell happened within this team, and like as you're going through, like you start to like piece it together that they're the team that found the ship,
yeah,
an alien-esque kind of deal,
yeah, and
and yeah, go on.
like you see the human being they try to burn, and you're like, again, you don't see things like this that are so horrific, and you're like, what the fuck is that? Like the craftsmanship in this movie, you're like, you can like appreciate because
Yeah,
if it was today, you it would be definitely be one over the top or two over CGI, and you're just like, oh, okay, it's just something I've seen every day now.
yeah. Speaking of which, because like yeah, David Cronenberg had like a really big play in this one, where
Yeah.
the body horror was just crazy. In my opinion, I loved it. Like I don't like gore all that much. I don't like seeing it, but with this one, I found like the art in it, and I loved it.
Yeah.
And yeah, when you go to the 2011 version, it does rely on CGI a little too much, where it kind of breaks the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Like that weird uncanny valley of like, oh, he's not, he looks real,
Yeah.
right? He like but at the same time, it's just a little bit off, and
Yeah.
kind of it breaks our immersion with the entire situation. It's still an okay movie in my opinion, not as great as the original, but yeah.
Yeah. And like as you mentioned, the body horror really doesn't hold back, especially in the kennel scene with all the dogs, and you're like, what the fuck is that thing? Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I was like, first time watching this, I watched this when I was like 17, alone, and I was like, I wonder what people keep like talking about like the body horror, and of course you would see it in like Watch Mojo.
Yeah.
But when you saw the dog thing, I was like it legit like, oh my god,
Right? You're like,
because like
Jesus Christ.
you know that scene from Resident Evil where like the dog like opens up its mouth,
Yeah.
like that is like that is like like peanuts when it comes to like what David Cronenberg did with this thing. I was like, that is a nightmare.
Right?
That I don't care about that. Like I'm not scared of that. That I'm scared of.
Yeah.
And yeah, the whole practical effects thing, it was so fun to watch. And yeah, but carry on with the story. Yeah, I think they started to piece together that like, hey, this thing is starting to copy whatever host it likes,
Yeah.
and like it'll even copy it down to like its voice, to its molecular like whatever, and it's a problem because now everybody's kind of just like looking at each other. I'm like, who's one of us is gonna be the fake?
Yeah.
Like for sure, somebody in this room is gonna be a fake.
Like it has to completely assimilate itself. Like that one guy caught in the snow, and you're like, "Are you okay?" It just goes, "Ah!" Like, yeah, he's not okay. We have to burn it, burn everything, burn this whole entire facility.
Yeah. And like I love it when they're like incomplete and they're still kind of feral.
Yeah.
But when they are complete, they're intelligent, and I hate it.
Yeah.
Like I really hate it that they're so fucking smart.
Yeah.
This is the beauty of this fucking movie. You're not given answers. Usually, a horror movie with this kind of concept would give you answers to be like, oh, this guy is like the fake. This guy's the fake, or how did he execute plan A to plan B?
Yeah.
Or like how did the monster execute plan A to plan B? You don't know. You are with the team the entire time, and you don't know what the fuck is happening.
Yeah.
Like if somebody is like, it's kind of sketchy, you're also kind of like, get the fuck away from me.
Right? Like I love the fact that they suspect Kurt Russell, McCready, to be sus, and they just lock him outside and comes back with like dynamite. It's like, I swear, I'll blow this entire thing.
By the way, most badass character like
Yeah.
ever
Yeah.
in a horror movie. Not gonna lie, like Kurt Russell as Mac,
Yeah.
as the pilot of the team, is such a badass.
Yeah, I love the fact that he's not, a scientist, no one special. He's just like, all right, that makes sense. What do I do now? He tries to make sense of this whole situation because, again, he's just a pilot. He's like, I don't know what the fuck is happening. I was just hired for a job. I haven't slept in days. And you're saying that I'm sus. Fuck you. I will take all of you out. I think all of you are sus. Like him and Keith David are the two characters that take no bullshit because Keith David's like, oh, go ahead, test my blood. I already know the answer. Fuck face. You're like, all right. All right, Mr.
All right. I believe him. I'm a little bit scared of him now.
Right?
More than the thing. But yeah. And like we get this like one scene where this one guy, I don't know how it had a heart attack, but it had a heart attack. So the dude gets a heart attack, they're like, ah shit, we gotta revive him.
Yeah.
And the guy like pulls up a defibrillator and then like shoves it
Yeah.
through his stomach, and then his stomach clamps down into his arms. And I was like, that is so fucking sick.
Yeah. Again, just the effects. You're like, you're literally staring at it like, how the fuck do you do that? How?
Yeah.
Especially the
But
stomach trap. You're like, how do you do that without making it look too crazy or too lame? It's just like,
Yeah.
looks so real. Like, do I have that thing in me?
Yeah, right. Like especially the uncanny valley of like prosthetics.
Yeah.
Like had a lot of effect on us when it came to like when we would see its face and it just start to like crawl
Yeah.
like on the floor. I'm like, yeah, that ain't human. It looks human, but that's not human.
Yeah. I love the fact that it's not like literally like a predator where it's an overwhelming force. This thing tries to be sneaky, it tries to assimilate into life, and like it's just this feral thing at first, and then it becomes intelligent, and you're like, yeah, I agree with McCready. By the end, you're like, we might not make it out because we can't afford for this thing, even like a 1% part of the thing to get out, because all of
Yeah.
humanity would be fucked if we do.
That's true. And one, and like they who was he? I forgot who he was. It was like this dude with the glasses. He was just going insane, and he like broke the helicopter, broke all of like communications, and he was like, "Oh, sorry, I was just a little bit scared. Like one of you guys might be the thing." I was like, Why? You fucking idiot! Why?"
Right?
So like they lock him up, and then like they check on him, like he has the noose ready. I was like, all right, and then we find out he's the fucking thing. And I was like, or he was like one of the things.
Yeah.
No, that was a creepy part. There is more. Like once it like attaches onto something,
Yeah.
you're like a zombie virus. Like if it bites you, you start to assimilate.
Yeah, and you really don't know who's who. Like poor dog guy who is not sus at all. He just gets head in the head. You're like, you know what?
He gets shot in the head by Mac. And I was
Yeah.
like, and then like they test his blood. He's still a human. And I was like, not gonna lie, I agree that like yeah he is a murderer, but at the same time like he came at him with a scalpel, and two, that was one hell of a shot.
Yeah, right. I do like him testing the blood. I love the fact that this thing, every part of this thing is alive. Like if you test it with fire, even if it's just the blood, it goes, oh fuck, I need to survive now. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
that's smart and that's terrifying. Like,
Yeah, again, this entire movie leaves you with like so much information that is unanswered. I'm like,
that
what is this thing?
that one scientist when they test this normal blood, he's like, I don't know about you guys, but I really don't want to spend the rest of my time here strapped to this fucking couch. You're like, all right, sorry.
Gotcha. All right, Captain.
And they again, it literally goes down as according to McCready, and you're like, yeah, that's the price you pay for trying to save humanity. What the fuck can you do against this thing that can become anything and anyone, and within a matter of weeks, it will conquer all of humanity? You had to destroy it here.
Yeah, and that is such a badass thing to do. He's just like reality check.
Yeah.
We ain't making it out of here, but we gotta make sure this thing doesn't make it out of here either. And I was like, yeah, you know, like you kind of just like go agree. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
When clearly the other dude's supposed to be like the captain of this entire thing.
Yeah. But by the end, it doesn't give you any real answers because you're like, that's strange. Keith David has been gone this entire last stack, and he suddenly reappears, and you're like,
Yeah. Like I love the theories behind it. Like the director never answered it. By the way, he did say that like there is an answer to that question. He's just not gonna answer it. And I'm like, thank you,
yeah,
because I love it. Like, yeah, they blow up the entire facility, so they start tossing Molotov cocktails, like tossing dynamite, and they meet up with this just gigantic culmination of the thing
yeah,
that also had to like 1v1.
yeah.
And
fuck
was
you
so
too.
badass. Yeah, and girl Russell's like just stuck in the snow, just freezing to death.
Yeah,
And then what's his name again?
Keith David.
Yeah, Keith David like comes in and just like, I got lost. Like I thought I was chasing down that one dude who was building the spaceship.
Yeah,
And like he was like, yeah, I got lost. And he was like, and he's like, they're both drinking the whiskey, and oddly enough, Keith David's like the only human alive who can't like produce vapor from his mouth. I'm like, you know what? And I think Kurt Russell kind of knew. I was like, yeah, you're stuck here with me.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
yeah. I did like kind of suspect like either something happens again. We don't know because we'll never get the answer according to John Carpenter, which I appreciate. So I guess we'll
Yeah.
never know. And thank God the 2011 thing was just a prequel, not an answer to the unanswered question.
I don't want answers. Like, even though they did like give us a prequel to it, I love it that I still love it that it's still there's so much ambiguity within the movie where it's like the mystique of it is like the allure.
Yeah. But yeah, it's again, it's a very good movie that's you don't really see every day. And with that being said, what would you rate the 1982 The Thing?
Yeah, I have to agree with a lot of critics here. I love this. I really do.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna give it the straight up 10 out of 10 horror movie, even though it is released in the 80s. I feel like the entire way it didn't have any of those stupid tropes that horror movies kind of gave us and gave us like a formula. This one was not in formula.
Yeah.
It was its own thing. It was very like out there and it was unique and it was fun. And
Yeah.
like, yeah, I mean, you got Among Us. You, like, just imagine that hellhole of like a chat room, but in a real life scenario.
Yeah, even the parts where they're like, we have to meet here in this meeting room. You're like, I get the reference. I get the influence now.
Yeah, so like it has such an impact when it comes to like pop culture, and I am amazed that it hasn't been able to be recreated. I don't know. There might be a movie out there that I might be missing. Like, recommend it if there is a movie that's kind of like The Thing and perform and like executes it very well the way John Carpenter did.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's 10 out of 10. I haven't seen any horror movie like this before, and I love it. And I love it that it was very smart with every detail and information that he wanted to give. So,
Yeah. I'll also give this a 10 out of 10. It's just such a unique movie that is very smart and it just leaves you guessing. Even though you kind of suspect something's happening, it literally subverts your expectations. You're like, I did not see that coming. All right, let's see what else you have in store, Mr. John Carpenter. And it's such a just the vibe and the atmosphere is so unique too. You can't really see it in any other movie aside from Among Us, but even Among Us is not that foreboding. It's literally lighthearted. No offense to all the Among Us fans, but yeah, I just really like this movie, and I appreciate the fact that it's literally almost its own standalone thing. Even though, as you say, the prequel's like so, but I don't think anyone's rushing to remake it, and they're just choosing to leave it alone, which I respect and understand.
yeah.
But
I
yeah,
agree.
anything else to add to The Thing?
Nah.
Alright. This, by the way, was released the same year as E.T. and Blade Runner, the original. So you have three sci-fi classics in 1982. Yeah. But yeah, speaking of which, that's been our video on 1982's The Thing. What do you guys think? What's your favorite John Carpenter movie? Is it this one? Is it Escape from New York with the original Snake? Is it
Yeah,
Halloween?
Pliskin.
Yeah. Whatever it is, comment down below. If you like our videos, please leave them a like, subscribe, and ding the bell icon to get notified of when we upload next. We're also on Spotify and TikTok. TikTok to see our best and funniest moments, and Spotify to hear us on the go. In the video, ends Wolf on Letterboxd and Zoda's Voices on TikTok. Where can they find you?
You can find me at JomGM on Instagram at his Mario account.
And until the next video, we'll see you then. Bye, everybody.
Ciao.